Hey now, and welcome to episode number 35 of the Clint Cronin Show. I'm Clint Cronin. I'm a systems engineer turned Brazilian Jiu Jitsu Black Belt out here introducing you to other people that are using Jiu Jitsu to make their lives better. This week on the show, I'm traveling down to Southern California, to San Diego, where I met up with Richie, the Boogeyman Martinez. Now this name is legit. You meet this guy, he's got the piercings, got the cool beard, got the tattoos. He's definitely, he's got a unique look, and his jiu-jitsu game is equally unique. Now, make no mistake, this guy is a beast. He's a lot bigger than I thought he'd be. He's definitely tough as hell on the mat. He's got that warrior thing going. You know, he's a big fan of the Ultimate Warrior. He's got the tattoo, and he's definitely got that warrior mentality, that warrior vibe. The dude works. His guys work. It's a big gym he's got there in San Diego, 10th Planet, under the world famous Eddie Bravo. So if you want to be a warrior and have that warrior mindset and that warrior outlook on life, like the Boogeyman, you got to dial it up a little bit, right? You can't just procrastinate. You can't just sit and wait around for things to happen. You got to be effective. You got to kick some ass. But what if you're just dilly-dallying around, sitting there with your thumb in your ass and staring at your phone all day? You got to do something about it. You got to get on point. Well, I use Azoth. That's A-Z-O-T-H, Azoth. Now, what is that? It's nootropic. Now, I work with these guys, Pratty over there. This guy is pretty much the wizard and guru when it comes to these nootropics or brain supplements. Stuff's got alpha GPC, DMHA, hordenine, and it's got all the good stuff in it to make sure you're on point, you're dialed in, and you're functional, right? You're not going to be procrastinating. You're going to have focus. You're going to have drive. You're going to be in a great mood. You're going to work your ass off. You're going to be on point to be effective. So if you use the promo code Cronin on Seeking Azoth, that's SEEKINGAZOTH.com, you'll get 15% off of your order. Again, seekingazoth.com, promo code Cronin, C-R-O-N-I-N. But you already knew that because I'm Clint Cronin and you're subscribed to the Clint Cronin Show. Thanks again for listening. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so through iTunes or Podbay or iHeartRadio or YouTube or wherever you like to download fine quality content like this. Again, thanks to Leo Optics, as usual, for hooking this up. Lionel over there is the man. He's a good friend of mine. He's a San Diego guy as well. Condolences to the passing of his dog. Very sad. Great guy. Love this dude. And he's got a great quality product. I wear them. They're Leo Optics, and you can check those guys out on leooptics.com or on Instagram. This is Richie Boogeyman Martinez from 10th Planet San Diego. Be sure if you're in the area to check out that gym and check him out online. He's got a 16-man tournament coming up real soon, so be sure and follow him on Instagram. I believe it's Boogeyman TFS, right? All right, on with the show. Thanks for downloading. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Share it with your friends and give me a shout out. If you got any suggestions, comments, questions, hit me on Instagram or anywhere else at Clint Cronin or clintcronin.com. Thanks, much love. On with the show. Richie Boogeyman Martinez. Right here in San Diego, California, 10th Planet San Diego with the Boogeyman, Richie Martinez. Welcome to the Clint Cronin Show.
Thank you, man. Thank you for coming down and stuff.
Oh, man, it's a pleasure to be here. It's definitely been on my, I don't like to call it a bucket list, but my jiu-jitsu list of places I wanted to come through and check out.
For sure.
This is the second 10th Planet Academy I've been.
Oh, dope. You went to HQ, right?
Went to headquarters. Got to meet Eddie. That was, it was special, man.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he takes that much time in his classes to spend with students, and it was 8 o'clock class. Everybody kind of jiu-jitsu'd in there like 8:15 or something, right? But he was actively teaching until at least after 10 o'clock.
Definitely.
Working through all these different positions. And so you guys have a very unique system. Everybody knows that, but in turn, the uniqueness that I saw was how organized and structured it was.
Yeah, 100%. You know, Eddie does a really good job in structuring all his classes, and like all the instructors that teach at 10 Planet schools, he helps them organize the whole system. You know, they have a whole warm-up system that he uses that helps everybody out. You know, people use them in different ways. A lot of us follow it directly, but man, it definitely helps us out structure our classes, structure our system better. You know, if it could be organized instead of like everybody does different things. It's a really organized system, and a lot of people don't really think that. A lot of people don't notice that, you know, until they actually go to classes and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can attest to that for sure myself. It was very eye-opening. It's extremely organized. You guys have names for everything, which is cool in the tournament sense, but in terms of just everybody snapping to and be like, okay, this is the drill set we're doing today. It was like a butterfly bridge pass and a side control, and a different kind of transition. And then there were these different variations where there would be different butterfly passes where, okay, well, sometimes you're going to wind up in north-south, and here's how you're going to go from there.
Exactly.
And just seeing how involved it was and how detailed was it was very refreshing. I like structure. Like I have that sort of architecture, engineering kind of brain, man. So
100%. Like I've always been kind of structured, especially coming through dancing. I've always kind of focused on structuring our dance crew from when I started, and that kind of transferred into the jiu-jitsu aspect of it and the way I teach and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, so you guys all go way back. I know you and your brother both have the b-boy background.
Yeah.
I know I talked to Christina Barlan. Like, did you guys know each other back in the day?
Actually, we did. Yeah, like we always used to battle their crew or whatever. We used to battle a lot in the Bay Area, in the East Coast. We traveled all over the world competing, and we knew her very well. You know, I think we even battled together before, like as groups. You know what I'm saying? And but we would battle a lot against each other, so it made it fun. And now that she transferred to jiu-jitsu and we did the same, it's really cool to see a lot of dancers coming up in jiu-jitsu scene.
Yeah, I feel like you guys have that creativity where it's that difference between just like, okay, you would think, I think her name back in the day was like Flexible Chick or something. Like
Flexible Chick.
Yeah, I thought a friend of mine actually used to break back in, I guess, the day also. I guess the same era as Christina, and he's like, yeah, I think your name was Flexible Chick.
Yeah.
I didn't feel comfortable, saying, hey, was that your, because I thought I got it wrong.
Yeah. No, Flexible Chick, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I knew her we known her for a while, you know, since like the early 2000s and stuff like that. Me and my brother actually still dance. I'm not sure if she does still, but me and my brother still dance, not as competitively as we used to, but we still do it just to practice it and sometimes just vibe out with our crew and stuff like that.
That's cool, man. I feel like the dexterity and sort of just like the creativity you guys have, like I think a lot of people early on thought when they would think 10th Planet, they would think flexibility. And I learned an armbar from Danny Prokopis.
Okay, yeah, of course.
And remember that we had the Haiti sort of the earthquakes back a few years back.
Yeah.
Right when Danny got his black belt, I think right after, they had a big Haiti seminar in San Jose with Kurt Osiander, a ton of black belts, and Danny was.
Yeah.
And so we had like a bunch of traditional Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts teaching their move.
And then Danny,
And then Kurt Osiander, then Danny, and everybody was like, they were still like. From Kurt. And then when Danny got up there, it was, I think the ice was already broken.
Definitely.
Because Kurt doesn't really have a filter at all.
Of course. He's an awesome grappler too. And Danny, you know, he's from the Bay, but he's an awesome grappler. He has a great mind for the jiu-jitsu, and you know, it is a lot of the flexibility stuff that people already kind of think like 10th Planet. But to be honest, for me and Geo, was basically like the main thing that we took from breakdancing is understanding patterns.
Yeah.
You know, patterns, it goes huge. You know, and it was easy for us to understand the patterns and kind of creating new paths for the stuff that we were doing already.
He showed an armbar, and when I try to show it to my students and my friends and stuff, they're like, oh, I'm not flexible enough to do that. And I'm like, I weigh 220.
Yeah.
And I can do it.
Yeah.
And I'm not the most flexible guy in the world. I mean, I work on flexibility, but I'm not flexible. Chick.
Of course. Yeah.
But to me, what I noticed, it was more about weight distribution and hip movement.
Yeah.
And step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, like following a specific set of moves. Whereas people would be like, oh, I can't just bring my... I think it was you were an overhook from the mount. Like if you were to sweep somebody to mount, you'd have overhook. And then you'd go for the throat, like the zombie choke or whatever.
Definitely,
I don't think we can call it that.
Zombie,
whatever. And then when they check it, you bring your foot over, and
100%.
It's just an overhook armbar.
Yeah.
But when people look at it, they're like, oh, that's some crazy flexible stuff. No,
and to be honest, like...
It's not.
I've been teaching seminars all over the place, and I teach a couple of the seminars that I teach. I do teach some sort of variations of rubber guard, but realistically, it's all about angles. People forget that angles make jiu-jitsu. You know what I'm saying? If you're just flat on your back, realistically, not a lot of stuff works. I'm saying? You have to be create the right angles to create the position or the submission, and I feel that a lot of people just think we're just throwing our legs up and we're flexible. Not everybody in 10 Planet is flexible, but we have the right angles. We create the right angles to be able to play rubber guard and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, early on, Eddie would talk about it's about the overhook and control.
100%.
And really, gi or no gi, if you're not focused on just space management, posture management, angles, leverage, hand fight, this whole thing. If you're not focused on these things fundamentally, like, it doesn't matter if you're doing gi or no gi. It's you're gonna get smashed if you don't understand these concepts.
100%. And concepts go a long way. So
yeah, it's cool that it's a system that keeps evolving and growing. In terms of I saw a really cool like flowchart kind of graphic online on Reddit, and it was basically a graphic you could click on, and it would show you, it would like link you to all the move. Like, it was a 10th planet.
Okay.
It was a big white graph thing.
Yeah.
And you click one thing, it'd say the transitions from that move are here. Here's the submissions, and it was all the YouTube, like the how-to links.
Definitely.
And my mind was blown. Like, when you blow this thing all the way up, I mean, this is
it's
big
huge,
thing.
And honestly, like, it's not, everybody's like, oh man, it's so difficult. It's his own system. Everything has a base. Everything has a root, and it's all basics, literally. Like, saying shrimps, stuff like that. That's huge basics for us, and it's nothing like crazy. You know what I'm saying? We're just creating a little bit of different angles, overhooking. Grading an angle with our foot, you know what I'm saying? And, and people see it as crazy, but realistically, it's not that bad. It's just you're overhooking and you're getting the right angle. Honestly, like, people make it crazier than it seems, and I feel it's because I think it was the movement that it was creating at first, and it was like people didn't really agree with it right away. But now I feel it's a little bit more people are able to, they're playing it more and people are accepting it more, which makes it beautiful, because honestly, it's jiu-jitsu. I love jiu-jitsu. Like, that's my main love, jiu-jitsu, and nobody wants to get hated, you know what I'm saying? It's like, exactly. I just want to do jiu-jitsu and have fun and train. I always go to like open mats, and it's like literally everybody's wearing gi, and then I'll be like, let's roll. And they'll be like, well, I'm wearing a gi. And I'm like, that's fine, you can wear your gi. I'll just wear no gi. Like, I don't have to wear a gi to roll with you. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And people forget that it's just jiu-jitsu, man.
Yeah, it's creativity. I mean, it's crazy because all this stuff is evolving in front of us, and everybody wants to have like a root, like, oh, that move came from Japan this day, or it came from Brazil this day, like, there's so much influence that came from all over the world that feeds into this. And
100%.
A lot of it is like, look at the catch wrestling, the sambo stuff, Japanese jiu-jitsu, judo, and then even 10 Planet stuff. A lot of this stuff,
everything's been done before.
Sure,
everything's been done. There's nothing that is brand new. Like, oh man, I created this today. It's brand new. Nobody has ever done this. That's a lie. Just because we don't know it's been done doesn't mean it hasn't been done. Everything I do, even if I think I came up with it, it's been done before. There's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah, I have a couple shoulder locks I haven't been taught that I just do. And they're like, oh, did you come up with that? I'm like, I didn't invent the shoulder, so I'm pretty sure it's been broken that way
100%,
before.
100%.
You could call it whatever you want to.
I'm sure the samurais back in the days, they would like lose their swords, and then they'll have to come up with something creative. They'll be like Minari rolling, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, but everything's been done, you know what I'm saying? Like even back in the days when they had weapons, you're not having the weapon all the time. You lose it, then what do? You have to be creative, and especially if your life depends on it, you have to come up with something that's going to help you defend yourself.
I always heard, I don't know if there's any truth to this, that a lot of the flashier kicks in some of the traditional martial arts came from, you basically being knocked off your horse and you're trying to deal with somebody coming at you with a sword on a horse or something. And so a lot of these were meant to dismount people from the horses.
I believe it, man.
These flying kicks, like what other practical purpose would there be for that? So maybe, I don't know.
Makes a lot of sense to me. It makes a lot of sense to me, man.
So you came up in sort of the breaking world. Your brother was a year or so ahead of you. Like how much?
Like 5-6 months.
5-6 months in?
Yeah.
But you guys were kind of training on the side. You were doing all that stuff, and then you kind of came in and worked. So you were sort of at an affiliate until about blue or purple belt before you joined up with Eddie.
I actually started jiu-jitsu at a 10th Planet. It was 10th Planet Vista, which was a dance studio / jiu-jitsu academy. It was kind of weird,
No,
but
that's common, man.
Yeah. So we got the opportunity to start teaching there and training there, break dancing. You know, we would go have our sessions there, and then they told us we could train for free, and that was the thing. We were already like MMA fans. We like watching UFC and stuff like that, but I mean, we never even thought of going to a gym and training. You know, it was always like, I don't want to pay for that, you know, one of those things, until we got the opportunity and just took the chance. And once we took the chance, it was just no stopping us. There was no holding us back. We just took the whole ride all the way through. And I was training as a white belt. I was training as a white belt. We were training on our own or whatever. When I got my blue belt, it wasn't too long. It was like 4 or 5 months that I got my blue belt. Then I started training more with Eddie, and going over there once, twice a week. You know, it's 2.5 hours, so we would make the drive as much as we can. And we would be training, literally we were training every day, like 3 times a day, 4 times a day, and we had a full-time jobs and everything. It was pretty crazy. We just got hooked, and we didn't even want to be the best. We didn't want to get our belts. We wanted to compete against the best in the world. You know, we're already used to doing that and dancing, so it was kind of like, I don't want to compete with like white belts, right? I want to advance. So it wasn't that. It was more like, let's get better before we could compete against the people we look at on videos. That was the main mission.
I kind of like that with no-gi. I was over at Eduardo Teles's place earlier. I dropped into the no-gi class, and I don't know what belt anybody is. I had my Hulkamania rash guard with these crazy, like these tiger print. People look at me, I'm like, you know, this bigger guy coming in with like dressed up like the Hollywood Hogan or whatever. They're like, what's this? I met Lionel from Leao Optics over there. And we just dropped in, and it's I had a lot of really good roles with those guys, with Eduardo as well. But earlier on, you know, I would drop into a new gym, and you'd be wearing a belt, and you're like, oh, this is a blue belt. I'm a white belt. You got to roll a certain way. Like, I feel like sometimes, like there's an appropriate amount of respect to pay a training partner or opponent, whatever. But I feel like oftentimes people see a higher ranked belt and they just go into limp mode, and they already beat themselves.
100% right here. There's kind of like a camouflage, you know. You're like camouflage to a man. It's like, I want to go with that guy. You don't know their belt. You don't know who they are. You know, sometimes it's cool. Sometimes you're like, oh man, I'm rolling with a white belt. But in the long run, it's like good rolling with everybody. It gives them a chance to roll with a black belt. You know, maybe they never had the chance to do that. So it kind of makes it kind of fun for them as well, as much as yourself, you know. So
absolutely. I get guys that I see rolling with people that I have a pretty tough time with, and then they'll roll with me, and they're like, just really, pitter patter, just going real light, and I'm like, no, go hard.
Go harder, go regular speed.
I will get fat and lazy if you guys let me. I need you guys to try to kill me.
100%. Yeah, Eduardo Teles is a really cool guy. I actually go train with him often. You know, I go train with him like every other week usually. He helps me a lot with my game, and I cross train with him and his guys, and we try to help each other out for competitions and whatnot.
There's quite a few coming up soon. You have and obviously Pans were just recently. You've got ADCC trials coming up on April 15th. I know we have the American Cup back in NorCal.
Okay.
I'm doing that one. Yes.
Okay, cool.
I think I did not miss registration. So I am doing that one. And then you've got I guess a sort of EBI style promotion
tournament.
Tournament coming up as well.
I actually started doing a thing called Ultimate Mat Warriors.
Cool.
Kind of from inspiration from my favorite wrestler, Ultimate Warrior. So I just threw Matt in the middle. So but I've been doing Ultimate Mat Warriors, and it's been kind of like, I'll do a 16-man tournament, and then I'll do white, blue, and purple belt, like separate. Each one has a division, and I'll do open weights.
Great.
And I'll do $30 to compete. $15 goes into the pot, and the winner takes all. So some of these guys be making like $500-$600 at white belt. You know what I'm saying? So
it's tremendous.
It makes it really, really fun, and it makes them excited to get better. To compete. So recently I started thinking of different concepts of tournaments. So this is gonna be my first one. This Ultimate Mat Warriors Pro Invitational. Okay. So it's going to be a 16-man 145 bracket, EBI style. And then there's also going to be 10 super fights.
Okay.
And every single person is getting paid. I have, I think, 2 blue belt fights and purple, brown, and then there's going to be a few black as well. And yeah, everybody's getting paid, you know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be at a really dope venue. I usually do my events at my gym, like on the mats, but this time it's gonna be at a bigger venue, and we rented it out. It's gonna be so decked out. The production's gonna be amazing, and that's gonna be on it's gonna be on May 27th here in San Diego. So look out. I'll put out the flyer like in the next 2-3 days, and it's just gonna be amazing, man.
Very cool. I'll definitely have to come out and check it out, man.
Please do, man. Please do.
Hell yeah. It's pretty crazy. 10 years ago, if you would have said, blue belt or purple belt, super fights, people would be like, if anybody out there has the misconception that you're not going to see something exciting from the blue and purple belts, those are some of my favorite matches to watch at tournaments.
Yeah,
they
100%.
go.
Yeah, they go, and, they feel they have something to prove. They want to show everybody that they're good, and they don't hold back. They actually go for it. They're not scared to get tapped. You know what I'm saying? Like black belts, I think, are more careful because nobody wants to get tapped out, especially at that level. You have your students watching and stuff. Blue belts, they are the students. They don't care. They're going at it. You know what I'm saying? If they get an opportunity, they're gonna take it. That's what I did. Like when I was a blue belt, I got a chance to teach class. Like it was just a random scenario. Me and Geo both, as blue belt, were already teaching class, but it was something that we just had to take the opportunity and run with it. So these opportunities don't come along too often, but when you do, when you get a good like blue belt, like versus another good blue belt, man, take the chance, take that super fight. It makes it fun.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Are you guys going to be streaming it like?
Yes.
Is it through you guys, or are you doing Flow Grappling?
No. So this is the concept. So it's going to be kind of like not a marketing system, but it's going to help out. So every tournament I'm doing, so this is gonna be my first one. I'm getting mat therapy to do it.
Okay.
They're gonna be doing the podcast the broadcasting and stuff like that. Great. We're gonna provide all the camera, all the equipment, whatever's. I think we're gonna do it through a YouTube channel, and it's gonna be free. We're not gonna charge for it. We just want people to enjoy jiu-jitsu. Like I said, it's just jiu-jitsu is beautiful, and I want everybody to be able to enjoy it. So every tournament that we do, we're gonna bring somebody new to like somebody that has a podcast, that has a good following podcast, and they're gonna be doing it. You know what I'm saying? So every time, so I'm tempting to do it every 6 months if it goes good, which I think is gonna sell out. To be honest, like with the matches that I have, I think it's gonna sell out. So it's gonna keep on going, and every time I do it, I'm gonna bring somebody from a podcast that's pretty popular, and then they're gonna be able to commentate and stuff like that. So every time it's gonna be somebody new.
What I noticed, what I've heard from people that have done stuff in the past, it's kind of turnkey with Flow Grappling, but you aren't going to have those rights to the media later.
Yeah.
The split's a little aggressive, and it's a great business model for those guys and for just people trying to put on shows. But if you're trying to build a business and trying to bring your own stuff up, you're going to want that content library.
Of course, yeah, 100%. And like I say, Flow Grappling, I think they do a really good job. But I feel for these smaller tournaments, it's not necessary. Like I think my tournament is not gonna be humongous. It's gonna be good. Like it's gonna probably hold like 400 to 500 people. It's not gonna be 1,000, 2,000 people. And the matches are gonna be fun, but it's gonna be available for everybody. And that's what I want. I want everybody to be able to grab it. Even if you don't have Flow Grappling, I want them to be able to watch it, so. Oh,
absolutely. It's more exposure to the sport. Honestly, when you get those pay-per-view events, I know for Gi, just as an example, it's hard to watch a lot of Gi Jiu-Jitsu, man, especially like if you're paying for the entire pans or you're paying for the entire to watch it all weekend. Some of that stuff's excruciating. It's just boring, and I feel like I've earned the privilege to be able to, as a competitor, as somebody who's been doing jiu-jitsu a long time, dude. If it's my friends, family, training partner, students, me, I hate watching myself, but I have to, because otherwise you're like, oh, dude, I did that wrong. Because if you don't do that, you don't remember a lot of the stuff that happened. Like some matches just happen.
I usually watch myself one time. Like I'll watch my match once and then it's done. I will never watch that match again. Like I just don't like looking back on my mistakes or what I did good. If I did good, then that means I was drilling it enough. Yep. If I see my mistake, then I don't want to see it again. I'll fix it, and then we'll go on from there. And a lot of people get stuck watching their own stuff. You know what I'm saying? And for me personally, I like watching it once, and then I let it go.
So, yeah, the drilling's everything, man. I believe in drilling. I know some people say they don't drill, is roll a lot. And I'm like, okay, great. But I always believe that sort of the scramble it's only a scramble to the guy that doesn't know the next move.
Exactly.
And it's like, if you think of every match you had like early on when you're blue belt, white belt, whatever, then it seems so fast. Then you watch it back, you're like, that was the slowest piece of crap I've ever seen. It's because it seems fast because you're probably not breathing right, you're probably holding your breath, and then you look back and you're like, man, we barely moved.
100%.
It was just
like for me, like I have a quote I always tell my students, like drillers make killers. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I believe it. You know, you make that move stronger. Like if you're just rolling, you don't get reps of that move that you want to hit anyways. Like if you're not rolling enough, those moves don't become powerful. You know what I'm saying? Like say you hit a move and you're decent at it. You know what I'm saying? As a blue belt and you don't drill it, you're gonna stay at blue belt at that move, you know. Like that's the thing. It's like if you keep on drilling, it becomes black belt level. And I figured out, you know, and the more I drill and the more I compete, the more I see that, you know.
It was funny. I took over the evening classes at my gym for a week or so. Everybody was on vacation. Everybody was on holiday break, and I train on Christmas. I train on Thanksgiving. I don't care. It's the mat's there. I got keys to the spot. I'm gonna train.
Definitely.
And I had them doing the same sort of drill sequence, and there was a few moves in it, but I was being very specific on the transitions. I wanted it done a certain way, and I'm like, just go slow. And I went through it a bunch of times. I worked with them on it, and we did it a couple classes in a row. And one of my guys, he's a good dude. He's one of our white belts. On the third time, he's like, man, we already did like 3 days of this. Can we do something else today? I'm like, let me see you do it. Show me how it looks.
Do it.
No, this is deliberate because I came here 2 Fridays ago, and these were deficiencies I saw.
Definitely.
Just in overall body movements that I thought everyone should be good at. You should be able to. I think you should be able to do a headstand.
Yeah.
I think you should, and not just to be like, look at me, I can do a headstand,
Definitely.
but can you control your core and your breathing and still navigate? Like, if you get stuck halfway through a sweep, can you still complete that sweep?
100%.
Can you kick? Can you get your body higher than their legs? And like, do you understand that like if you compress their hips, they can't lift their legs anymore? Like, just a simple
little things. Yeah.
Just tiny little details that I'm gonna flip out about. Like, dude, no, that's not the pass. It's you got to control the leg this
100%.
way. And he's like, can we work on something else? I'm like, show me
you can do it.
Just do the thing perfect. And he's like, I'm like, just fucking start running.
Yeah. That's always funny. Everybody feels they have the move and like they want to go something out. Like to me, like my guys already know. Like we're gonna like I try to switch things up. You know what I'm saying? I do a certain amount of passing, classes of passing a week, a certain amount of sweeps, a certain amount of submissions. You know, so we kind of vary it in different scenarios. You know, and I say like I'll have like this week we'll do in different classes because I have 4 classes a day usually. I'll do like, all right, so throughout the week, we're going to do like 5 passes, 5 sweeps, you know, and then it just kind of switches it up throughout the classes, you know, and I usually carry it like that. That way, I don't stick to one thing every class, but I do switch it up. That way, like, you know, maybe you do this class and this class, you'll get 2 different things, you know. So I try to, you know, shuffle it a little bit for them just for they don't get like super bored. But at the same time, those drillings of the same move becomes really important. You know, I have some guys already telling me like I'll do this pass on, say, Monday morning, and then I'm also going to do it like Wednesday night. They'll ask me, hey, when's the next time we're going to drill that move? And then I'll tell them, and then sometimes they'll come to that class because they know they have to drill it more. And I feel that that's really important for somebody to know that that's something they have to do to get better.
Yeah, I feel a lot of gyms, and I'm guessing this is going to change because there's so many gyms now that they just sort of just show random stuff all the time. And I think a lot of instructors feel the need with all this competition in other gyms to like entertain their students. Yeah. To like, oh, I'm going to show this flashy thing, and then
I'm they forget about the essence of the sport or what we're doing, you know, and like some of these guys, these flashy moves, like, you know, it's cool to do it once in a while, but to be honest, like basics, you know what I'm saying, like stuff like that is really important as well, you know, like as much as the flashy moves are cool and fun and important eventually, because, you know, those flashy moves, you'll be able to hit them in bigger shows and stuff. It makes it really cool. It makes you popular, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's like, you can't even hip escape. You can't even regard, you know, it kind of takes the purpose of everything.
Yeah, I mean, you got guys that can do the Barambolo perfect on, you know, a non-resisting, you know, partner or whatever, but yeah, then they gas doing the warm-up.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like, okay, do a cartwheel. What? Can't do a cartwheel.
Yeah.
All right, well, mine suck, but I'm gonna do it.
Definitely.
I'm gonna keep trying to get better at it.
100%.
I realized,
and that's what drilling is, right? You just keep on getting better at it the more you do it.
It was crazy. I realized like how much dexterity mattered and how you build it without even realizing it, when you kind of just open your mind up to stuff and try to, not just discard some move because, that guy shows it a different way. It's like there's way more and than or in jiu-jitsu, and I think your game's better for it, for like getting it. I just remember I was teaching the stupid butterfly bridge pass. I keep going back to this, and I was in the middle of trying to teach, like, basically you gotta, sometimes everybody has a different body type, so like if I can gable grip right here, I got my head here. If my head doesn't reach the ground, gotta use part of my shoulder, this structure, basically between my elbows, forearms, the gable grip itself, my head on the floor, and their body. Somewhere you have to find that equilibrium, have to find that 100%. Balance. And I just remembered I was trying to talk through that, but I talk with my hand sometimes, and I was doing a headstand, like literally without, like, just my head, like talking through the move as I'm doing. I'm like, I guess I can do that. Yeah. Like, I had no idea.
You didn't even notice what you were doing, and then you were just actually doing it, right?
Yeah, it was cool. I'm like, but that's the thing. You really have to be open and have to sort of realize that every move has its variations, and like if you do that move like you mentioned before, like the pass with like 4 different partners, you're going to see their natural reaction be a little bit different. Yeah.
Exactly. And then you'll be able to, I like drilling the same, sometimes the same move, just different ending, different reactions from people. At the end of the day, everybody's gonna have a different reaction you roll for. You might not even know the reaction. You might just see it in tournament when you're actually doing it, and it kind of sucks to see it that way. But it definitely it makes you understand, patterns, and body movements as well.
When you see it at a tournament, it's cool though, because you always know, like, that Monday or Sunday or whatever, like, you for sure are
that's
work
that's
on
what
it.
That's what you're gonna do. Yeah, 100%.
That's never happening again, ever.
I feel that that's the best way I can see my students, like, their holes. Like by watching them compete. Like, other than that, that's the best scenario, because, like we said, everybody reacts different to different things. But when we're in tournament, that's like emotions. That's saying like stamina, everything that you could think of is coming out. So you see your reaction, their reaction, what's gonna happen, why that move didn't work, why that move worked. Everything comes to par in that scenario. So that's the best time that I usually see how my students compete or what their holes are.
Dude, I totally agree, man. I kind of want to get to, you mentioned Ultimate Warrior. You got the Warrior guy over here. We'll snap that on the way out. You got the tattoo. So, were you a big pro wrestling guy as a kid?
Yeah, I mean, I came up watching wrestling. Me and my brother always wrestled around, you know what I'm saying? And like, I was always the Ultimate Warrior, of course. He was like Bret the Hitman Hart or Shawn Michaels. Like, we were the Bushwhackers or Legion of Doom. Like, I mean, we always mess around, just have fun. But I grew up watching it, as a little kid. So that's always kind of been like one of like my heroes that's coming up. And then I started slowly realizing that he was kind of crazy, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, that's how I grew up. That's kind of like somebody that made, it made me happy as a child, you know what I'm saying? So it's definitely something that I still look up to. And, even though he passed away, I still kind of like, I have all his DVDs and stuff, and I watch like his fights, you know what I'm saying? So it's usually really cool.
I liked his one match with Randy Savage. He had 2 good ones.
He had really good ones against Randy. Yeah,
the retirement match with Macho Man, and then he had Liz came out afterwards, because he was like Macho King or something.
I mean, they were the Ultimate Maniacs for a while as well. They were a tag team partner, the Ultimate Maniacs for a while. So it made it really cool to watch them fight like towards the end and stuff. So.
I remember the first WrestleMania that I watched, like not as a tape, but like I got like my parents actually ordered the thing on pay-per-view, which it was on my mom's birthday, which I couldn't believe they actually let me. I guess it kind of got me away. Like I was a kid. It was like I think I was like 7 or something. It was WrestleMania 6. It was Hogan and Warrior.
That's cool.
And me and my next door neighbor were like not getting along very well for like that whole lead up to it, because I was the Hulk Hogan dude.
He
was the Ultimate Warrior fan. And I'm like, and like he was a little bit older. I was like. I was pissed for a while.
Nah, they had some great matches. That double belt fight was awesome. Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan.
I think it was his best match.
That was the best match ever. I feel like in wrestling, and I still look that match up every once in a while.
I get all teary eyed.
Yeah,
just because they had those like the carts that like rode him out to the ring.
Yeah.
You had like the best announcer. You had like Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan. It
Yup.
was like I
So
still,
old school, man. So awesome.
I felt like that was the best WrestleMania match moment ever.
That was some of the best era of sports entertainment. You know, like you know, they're still super huge. Like WWE, like blew up. You know, it's huge, making huge money, getting huge stars. But I feel that era was what created everything. You know, I feel kind of like what jiu-jitsu is now. You know what I'm saying? Like we have these superstars. Now I would say we're kind of like when DX was coming out. I think that's the era of jiu-jitsu that we're in now. You know what I'm saying? If I would say it, you know, so we're in a good era right now. But yeah, when the Ultimate Warrior was around, I feel that was a great area in wrestling. I feel that that's the best era.
I think so too. I mean, it was fun being a teenager with the NWO and DX.
Oh yeah,
and
that
everything.
was fun. That was fun.
Because that was all the guys I liked from back in the day. And I watched WCW a little bit as a kid, but I wasn't from the South, so some of it just wasn't. It just went over my head. Like I mean, I knew that Sting and Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes were really good, but I wasn't Southern, so I grew up watching, you know, the cartoon character looking guys, like, because I'm big into comic books and stuff.
For sure.
So having, you know, Demolition, the Heart Foundation, these are these like larger than life,
you know,
personas.
and these people, exactly, like that's what it is. It was, they made the right moves to make it entertaining. You know, like they had the right characters, you know, to draw people, and that's why they became so famous. You know, that's why it became such a big deal. You know, such a big sport.
I found out we were big pro wrestling nerds as kids, man. I don't know what you call it now, but I was like, I was really into it. And somebody would have, you know how they have like the pro wrestling news websites now? They had back in the day that they were like cheat sheets or like dirt sheets. And one person would have them. They'd make copies and they'd like hand them out at school and stuff.
That's cool.
And I remember reading in the back of Pro Wrestling Illustrated all the different federations. I'm like, how come we don't see this stuff on TV? And Ken Shamrock was like coming up and never got to see any of his stuff, but you just read about him all the time. Like you trade tapes, but really you didn't know it was like Japanese stuff. We didn't know who the hell anybody was. But then he popped up on UFC, like the number 1 or number 2, and that was basically how I found MMA.
That's crazy.
One friend with a black box scrambler, like, because we thought we were watching WWF in your house or something, but it was like UFC 2 or UFC 1, and that's
my first encounter with like MMA or anything was Ken Shamrock versus Rich Franklin.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I think that was the Ultimate Fighter. Or no, it was before that. It was like right before that, or maybe Ultimate Fighter or something like that.
That was one of the tough. Was
it before that?
He already had came back the second Tito Ortiz fight, and I think that was like an alternate opponent or something. And Franklin knocked him out.
Yeah, that was bad. That was brutal. Because I've watched Ken Shamrock from wrestling.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like weird, you know?
That's crazy. I knew Ken Shamrock as a pro wrestler, and then he went to MMA. So I found out about MMA because of that.
That's crazy.
It was, and a lot of people didn't realize he was a pro wrestler first, and it was cool. I got to talk to Art Davey about sort of him dealing with Ken Shamrock when he booked him for the first UFC, and up until he was walking out to the octagon for the first time, he's like, just didn't know if it was a work or a shoot, if it was real or fake or whatever. He says to Art, he goes, look, all these guys are all, you know, badasses. I know who they are from the, you know, whatever, from martial arts and through various places. This guy in the pajamas, though, is this a joke? Like, is this real or fake? Because he didn't believe it was real. Because Hoist Gracie, you know, was a $170, $178, like he says, with the gi on. He didn't know anything about it. And look how that turned out. How ironic it is, right? It's almost poetic.
Yeah, it proved what we do works, you know? So
it's insane, and that, like, the evolution of it to this date where there's an entire 10 planet system. There's so many variations of so many different things. It's broken down with such granularity that
definitely, you know, so many systems, so many affiliates, so many different worlds in jiu-jitsu in itself, man.
Think of all the businesses that exist as derivatives of jiu-jitsu gi companies and rash guard companies.
Sure. Just say jiu-jitsu on them, you know what I'm saying?
Podcasts.
Yeah.
Tournaments, right? Gear.
School.
Phalanx.
Yeah.
You guys, I think I have... Do you guys do the Macho King spats or
No.
I saw those. I don't know who was wearing them. I think I saw them on your Instagram.
Yeah.
The King Savages.
Okay.
Yeah,
So somebody had to have them. Yeah.
I saw those and bought them immediately.
Yeah. That's awesome.
They look like the ones from the action figure.
Yeah.
Macho King.
Yeah. That's super cool, man.
So the freak show was this. So was the freak show where you was at Freakazoid, and then was all of this stuff from sort of your breaking days, or like?
Yeah. The freak show is our breakdancing crew.
Okay.
You know, we started a breaking crew. It's basically like a bunch of different styles combined into one. A bunch of different characters in one crew. That's what the freak show is. A freak show is a bunch of different characters, and they do circus acts and stuff like that. So our breaking crew was called a freak show. It was a bunch of different people from different places, and they were funky, crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like I was into punk rock for a really long time. You know what I'm saying? Like I had a mohawk and everything, and I was still breakdancing. You know,
that's cool.
And you know, that's kind of the scene we grew up. But then we found people that were dancing the same way we were as well, and that's how we created our crew, the Freak Show. You know, and then after that, once we started getting into jiu-jitsu, we wanted to incorporate something that kind of gave us the pathway to that. So we came up with just a sub crew, I guess, like a little crew inside our school, and we called it the 10 Planet Freaks. You know what I'm saying? Cool. So that kind of created a whole world for me and Geo. You know, now we have people that represent from us that don't even live around here, just people that used to train with us, or they want to train with us. They have kind of the same style of jiu-jitsu, and they're like basically like Ronins, you know, like just people with different places, and they're just representing what we do, you know.
That's very cool, man. So the whole freak show circus theme, does it go back to anything else? But like, do you have like a, I don't know, like you got the piercings, got the beard going, some tattoos, like I
mean, our breaking style was really flexible.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of, it was kind of like circusy, kind of Cirque Soleil. So that was easier to just be created as the freak show, you know. It's like like our crew was not normal. Everything we did was everything a regular dancer does, just a little bit more flexible, a little bit more creative or crazy, I would say. A little bit more risky. Just
put a little more stank on it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so
it's like in like street skateboarding or whatever, you would have some guys some guys would just do just a normal ollie grab, but then some would just tweak it a certain way. Where you're like, oh, how do you do that? It's like, no, that's the same move. It's
just a little bit different. Yeah, it'll be the same thing like that, but we'll throw our leg over our head with the same move, but it's just more flexible base.
Just adding a twist to it. That's
cool,
man.
That kind of made us different from the rest, you know.
I always think, like, every time I think of you guys, I always think of like Captain Spaulding from you know, the Rob Zombie movies.
Yeah.
And I love his movies, man. Me and my brothers used to, like, you know, watch a lot of horror movies, like really obscure stuff or whatever. So I always think of that whenever I see like the 10th Planet Freak stuff.
Definitely,
like, oh,
cool. Super cool, man.
Like what was the one is there's
House of a Thousand Corpses.
House of a Thousand Corpses. Thank you. The and then the sequel, like the very
last, that was
I've been hitting the head way too many times.
Same here.
Like, okay. Well, I liked his Halloween movie. I didn't like Halloween Part 2.
Yep.
I just don't like where they went at the end of it.
I don't like. I'm not a big fan of sequels, but sometimes they'll catch a good one every once in a while. We'll see how it does, though. You know what I'm saying?
That's a very special movie for me, even though it was it's not the best made for TV movie. It just scared the crap out of me.
It scared the crap out of everybody. You know what I'm saying?
And the ending was kind of bunk.
Yeah.
The book's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
I read that way too young. I think that messed me up a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. I know they're making one, but they're just doing the first part. Like, you know, like it was 4 tapes.
Yeah. They're breaking it down.
Yeah, they're not gonna do the part where they go back as adults. It's just the kid part.
Definitely, which I think is really cool. Actually, I think so. We'll see how it goes. I guess, you know what I'm saying. Like, I like that they're breaking it up. So,
I hope they can actually. You know how like that Stranger Things show on Netflix?
Yeah.
I hope they can capture that era that way.
That'd be dope.
I don't want the modern version. I don't want what they did to the Karate Kid.
100%. Oh, that would be horrible if they did that.
Don't change weird stuff, and don't put Will Smith's kid in it.
No, please don't.
Like, I don't know him.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Sorry, guys. They're doing the class right now.
No, an awesome chant is awesome. That's tremendous. Man,
The
so
MMA and wrestling guys,
hell yeah. How much time? We're only at 40, right?
Yeah, class gonna start soon. So.
Oh, you got to go in
Yeah.
class soon. All right, cool. So let's rehash real quick. You've got an event coming up
Yes.
on May.
May 27th in San Diego, California.
And do you have the venue stuff yet? Or
Yeah. It's actually I'll get all that stuff real quick. Like I don't want to give you guys false scenarios. It's gonna be at the San Diego Performing Arts Center. You know what I'm saying? It's stage seating and stuff. It's gonna be really dope. It's gonna be super fun. Like I said, we're gonna have really cool matches. One that I'm gonna say, I'll say it just because it's gonna be one of the highlighted brown belt matches. It's gonna be one of my students. He's one of my brown belts. He trained at Gracie Bar for Gracie Humaita for a really long time, and I gave him his brown belt. He's been training with me for 2 years. We call him Dan the Man.
Dan the Man
Versus Nick the Tooth.
Really?
Yes.
So this is the Dana White Nick the Tooth, right?
Yes.
Wow.
So they're gonna have a super fight. It's gonna be a brown belt super fight.
Cool.
At 160 pounds, and I wanted to say that one for people to get a little bit excited about it. It should be a really fun fight, and it's gonna be one of those fights that just kind of takes it to that next level. I think those guys are pretty popular at what they do, and I think it's gonna be a good fight, and yeah.
And this is going to be covered by the crew over at Mat Therapy.
Yes.
It's a cool podcast. You see all kinds of, Eddie Bravo and Jean Jacques type, people, affiliate students, instructors on there.
Maybe I'll be lucky enough and you could host it one day as well. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm lucky enough, of course, you know what I'm saying? That'd be really dope,
Hell yeah. I see nothing but success in the future of that event. And for you, man, I'll be glad to collaborate in any way possible.
Hell yeah. Would be really dope.
I want to thank you very much for coming on. You got any sponsors, shout outs you want to
Of course, yeah. I just want to give a shout out to 10 Planet San Diego and 10 Planet Freaks. We have 3 locations. We have 10 Planet San Diego, 10 Planet Oceanside, run by Geo Martinez, and then we have 10 Planet Spring Valley, that's run by PJ Bard. She's basically the only student I belted up to black belt, but it was a co-promotion between me and Eddie. Since I'm not a 2-stripe black belt, I wasn't able to give it to him, but so Eddie helped me out with that, and want to give a shout out to my sponsors, Datusara, Phalanx, Leo Optics, Proven Nutrition, and Show the Art, and Savage Soaps. And thank you for hosting me on your podcast, man. Super dope. And sorry it could have been longer, but I'm just happy I'm on it.
No, we got to do work, man. Thanks very much for coming on. Leo Optics, thanks, Mr. Lionel, for hooking this up. Really appreciate the opportunity, man. It's an awesome gym you got over here.
Thank
you. Some renovations coming. So it's a beautiful city, beautiful place to train. So if you're in the neighborhood, come check out.
Yeah, please come visit me, and you guys could always look me up on Instagram. It's the best place to reach me, and it's Boogeyman BOOGEYMAN _TFS, the freak show.
Oh snap! All right, man. Thanks very much for hospitality,
thank you
guys. Check out his stuff. Keep training. Be good to each other, and that's all. Os.
Thank you, brother. For sure.